Hello, everyone. I am Teratai, and I am the owner and intercultural trainer at Prokompas Coaching and Training. Now, in today's video series, I will be chatting with experts from all over the world, and especially if they are from Asia, on what it is like to work, live, or study abroad. And in today's episode, I am really proud to have this episode with a really good friend of mine who is from Asia, actually from my native country, Singapore, and has been in the Netherlands for the last 5 years. And she is a medical professional. So let's say hi to my good friend, Fran. So, hey, Fran, can you
Hi,
say hi
everyone.
and
Hi.
introduce yourself to our viewers today?
Hi. My name is Fran. I'm working as a nurse in Netherlands, and I'm from Singapore, of course. And I've I've moved here for my partner, who's Dutch. So far, I've been here for 5 years, almost the same time as Tara. That's how we met.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we met at a Dutch language classes,
Yeah.
back in Singapore.
Yes.
That was I would say that was 6 years ago. 6 years, 7 years.
I would say 7 years,
Yeah,
almost. Yeah.
yeah. So that's pretty much how long we've known each other. Yeah.
Yes.
That's really long. Now coming back to that, right?
Yeah.
Both of us are from Singapore, so we all kind of go through the same thing. But I always believe that everybody have their own story to tell. So for you, as someone from Singapore who moved to the Netherlands, right? Um, I know that you've moved here for your partner, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
would you like to just expand a little bit on that story? Because a lot of expats also move countries for their partners. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. I met my boyfriend. I would say that we were friends for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
And we're in a relationship, wow, 7 years, I guess.
Yeah.
So we were in a long distance relationship for the first few years. And we decided to say, like, hey, we cannot be in a long distance relationship for such a long time. So we decided to make a move. So I decided to move to the Netherlands with him and start something new. And so far I feel like it has been good, has been amazing. And I'm very honored that I'm still able to work here and pursue what I like to do in nursing.
Yeah. I know you say that it's good, it's been going good, but
Yeah,
I wonder how is it like in your first few years living in the Netherlands? Was it challenging?
I would say yes, very challenging. First of all, it's the food.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that nothing would beat Singapore with the food because Singapore has so much variety of food here, but here it's difficult. Really have to cook yourself. You have to learn how to cook, and you just cannot get wanton mee, chicken rice, or nasi
Nice.
lemak somewhere.
Yeah, I miss nasi lemak. I miss all the Singaporean food. Have you come to the point where just like most Dutch that you eat bread for lunch?
Not really.
It is really difficult. Yeah?
So I'm not a bread person. I don't like bread. I would like bread if it's like from like bread talk,
Yes,
warm bread,
precisely.
right? But mostly here in the Netherlands is always cold bread, very hard.
Yeah.
Not like the soft one.
Yeah, because like okay, just to explain, give some context to our viewers, right? In the
Yeah,
Netherlands, they don't eat hot food three times a day. They have mainly hot meals for dinner,
yeah.
and then in Singapore we have hot meals for every meal. So here we have breakfast and lunch, which tends to be cold or just room temperature, and then a hot meal in the evening. And I find it quite challenging in the beginning of the year. So like I totally understand if you have not started eating bread for lunch, because I think that takes a lot out of a Singaporean
Yeah.
to do that.
Like there was one day I was cooking pasta for lunch, let's say the first month living in the Netherlands. And my partner and my friends would be like, hey, this is lunch, not dinner. So it's very uncommon to have warm food in the afternoon,
Yes.
because people would just get simple salad or yogurt for
Yeah.
lunch. It's difficult for me, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally understand that, and also something for the viewers back home. Back in Singapore, our lunch hour is at least an hour, right? But over here, it tends to be shorter, like half an hour.
Yeah.
And I think that also explains why the food tends to be like not fast food, but like really simple, like a bread, not because they have to rush to it, but it's just a way of life. It's not bad, but it's just different, right?
Bread and Nutella, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Nutella or Nutella?
Yeah. Nutella, I call it Nutella.
Yeah.
But anyway, what are the other challenges that you faced that surprised you in the beginning of your years, other than food? Food is a big deal for us. Yeah.
I would say that the language, because of course, most of the Dutch, I mean the Nederlanders, they can speak English.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have to be afraid, not to don't know the language at the first few years or the first few months.
Yeah.
But when you really want to try to learn,
Mm-mm.
and you say, hey, you know what, I want to try Dutch, I can do it. I'm gonna order something in Dutch.
Yeah.
But they would just go back to English. Oh, what can I get you?
Yeah.
And then you're, oh man, I really want to learn. I really want to try, but you don't get the chance at first because you haven't started to work yet.
Mm-mm.
And second, I would say making friends can be a bit difficult because not all the Dutch people are as impromptu as Singaporeans. So it's not as easy like, hey, it's 10 p.m. You want to go McDonald's? Want to grab a drink? I don't think it's very, how to say, they would say, okay, maybe I'll put in my agenda for next week. That's how you make an appointment.
Yes, appointment making is like a sport here.
Yeah, 1 week in advance.
Yes, precisely. Like, you brought up really the kind of challenges that a lot of expats brought up, like the language, all right, the difficulty in making friends and appointment making. Like, okay, I'll just give some context for like our viewers here, because like for the language itself, it's important as expats like ourselves to learn Dutch, but it's also very difficult to practice Dutch here, because when you speak Dutch, because at first your Dutch isn't great, and then when you speak to another Dutch person in Dutch, they are also bilingual like us, so they switch to English in trying to accommodate to us. It's not that they are trying to be bad about not wanting you to practice, but they also want to accommodate to you because they see you struggle to speak the language, which is also it's actually a very nice thing.
Very sweet, yeah.
But it's also frustrating on us when you speak Dutch. Like I remember going to a butcher and having a script, how to order runde gehakt, which is the minced meat. And then the butcher was very amused and he's like, okay, I'll get it for you. So
at least
like
they know that we're trying.
They see you try. It's a very good thing. Now, and then the difficulty in finding friends, like back in Singapore, right? The social distinctions within our community doesn't really exist. So like a friend can also be a colleague, and your colleague is a friend back in Singapore. Like you ask each other out for supper, right? Like, hey, after work, let's go for supper or let's go for dinner. But over in the Netherlands, the social distinctions are quite apparent. Like, your colleague can be your friend, but it's a lower chance of that happening because
I would say that
the family is a family, and I won't say it's bad, but it's just different. So like, there's a lot of obstacles for us as expats to like, make a Dutch friend. It's like a goal,
but I would say like in the nursing field, it's very different. Like back then, if you are with your colleagues, you say, hey, let's grab a bite together, and you can say, oh, let's do it today, or right after work. But I would say, let's say work in my industry, they would say like, oh, let's make it tomorrow, or we would do it outside of work this weekend. It's very rarely they would say, oh, let's do it together after work. Yeah.
And that's why you were talking about this appointment making, right? Would you
Yeah.
like to share a bit more about this appointment making?
Wow. Okay. So in Singapore, like I was saying that we would just
Spontaneous.
a call away, like, hey, let's go kopitiam, grab something, right?
Yeah.
But not for Netherlands, because Netherlands we don't have kopitiam, one.
Yeah.
And eating Netherlands is expensive, and most of the time, let's say it's on a weekend, 7 p.m., 6 p.m., you have to make reservations for the restaurant. So most of us, when we stay in such neighborhood, we don't really have a kopitiam or hangout place to go to, except Rotterdam in the city where I live. And yeah, and they would say, oh, just make it next week. We make an appointment. But of course, the first year is very difficult for me. You know, I used to like to go out a lot, and I like to work, and not able to work I would say the first 6 months is difficult. And then you tell yourself, hey, you really need to brush up your language, because as healthcare professional, language is the most important aspect. And here you really have to know how to speak Dutch in order to get into the industry. And yeah, so from there I tried to make a few friends. I went to Dutch classes, and there was also, I was looking up online, there was also this library if I'm not wrong, every Friday.
Yes.
Where you get to meet a lot of people from overseas to learn Dutch, and that's where you make friends.
Yes.
But you sit together and say, oh my God, it's so different here. The food is not very good. And you know, I would say, wait, just the food.
Yeah, I understand. Because like, and for expats, it's easier to make friends first with the expat community.
Yes.
And then once you get confidence in your language speaking, just go out and try to make friends. And it takes a while to get there, but it's always possible, honestly.
Yeah, and these friends, they come from Asia, like Philippines, Indonesia.
Yep.
And they will be very impromptu. They'll just give you a call, hey, let's hang out. I say, okay, because you're not working, right?
Yeah.
And you need to talk to someone. And I'm lucky that I had a really supportive family here. So it wasn't much of an issue, but homesick is always there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. How is it like to have homesick for those viewers who have never really moved abroad?
Yeah.
What does it mean to have homesick?
Yeah, it was very, how would I say, like at first I wouldn't say it affected me a lot for the first month. I would say the first month.
Yeah.
Everything's fresh. Like, hey, I'm moving to a new country, We thought like, oh, grass is greener on the other side. Oh, let's do it. We need to start somewhere. But I remember when I first touched down, first week, I had this my father-in-law was telling me, like, homesick is real. If you feel homesick, you can talk to us, and we'll try our best to accommodate you, which is very sweet. Like food wise, because for me, food is very important.
Oh yes.
I love to eat. So when I was there, I was looking for different kinds of food. Like, where can I find Singapore food from here? And like the first 2 weeks is already very difficult. Like, you're missing like char kway teow, old junkie, curry puff,
Yeah.
And yeah, so first is the food, and second is not able to speak your own language, your mother tongue, like Chinese.
Yeah.
And a bit of Singlish. I would say it's very difficult for me to speak Singlish to a Dutch person. Like, it is how much, anyway.
I totally understand.
I would say, because back then, like, it's not that we are trying to be pretend. Like, you really want to speak a nice English where you can talk to someone.
Yeah.
Because, hey, how much is this? So expensive. It's very difficult for me to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, because you're in an unfamiliar setting, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you become very how to call conscious, is it? Conscious about
Yes.
what you're gonna speak, what kind of English you're gonna speak.
Yeah.
When I get
Precisely.
back home with my boyfriend, that's where the English come back.
Of course, he has been trained.
Yes.
You know, the way you explain it yourself, like your journey sounds very much to what intercultural trainers
Yeah.
think of when we talk about the acculturation curve. So acculturation curve follows the path of how expats tend to live their life. So like
Yeah.
you said in the first month, oh, everything's exciting. And it's true
Yes.
because in the first
Yes.
months, because everything is different, you're almost like a tourist in a new unfamiliar setting, like, oh, it's such nice cold weather, it's
Yeah.
winter, and then
Oh my god, so pretty.
yeah, like, oh, tulips, right? And then when reality sinks in, when you're trying to find a job, or
Yes.
and then the rejections come in, and it starts to plummet really low. But as you start to gain confidence in your new unfamiliar setting, like learning language,
Yeah.
making friends, leaning on your supportive network, it starts to rise up again. And at the end, some expats, according to acculturation curve, like
Yeah.
there are three options. Like one is that you become like super Dutch, like core Dutch. You're more Dutch than the Dutch people, or you suddenly feel like, oh, I still feel discriminated living here, or you just be okay. I'm myself. I'm myself, and I have the tools to interact with people around. Like, where do you think you are at this level? Yeah.
I would say that I would say I'm being much more myself,
Yeah.
like and once I think the thing is like learning a language is one of the most important thing for me here,
Yeah.
because without knowing the language you're not able to be yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot communicate properly. So when it comes to the point where you really want to speak to a Dutch person and you want to express yourself, it tends to be a bit difficult.
Yes.
Of course, if that person speaks English, you can bring out,
Yes.
the goofiness of yourself.
Yeah.
But if you really speak to someone who purely only know Dutch, like I want to be a bit goofy, I want to make
Yes.
a joke, and
Yes.
just staring at you like,
Yeah.
let's not.
Yeah, that's why like learning the language is key, because at the end of the day, we also have to think about some parts of the country in the Netherlands that they don't speak another language, that don't speak English, that is. Because even though in the Netherlands, they are known as the fourth best speaker for English in the world,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There are some parts of the population that has never spoken the English language, right? So as an expat yourself, you got to do some work in learning the language, and like hearing from you, it has benefited you in personally and as well in career wise, right? You would say
Yes,
that.
for sure. Yeah. Do like because I would explain first, like in nursing industry here, having we say the old folks home is one of the very big part of it.
Yes.
Hospital and old folks home. So when I was working in the old folks home, you do speak with a lot of old people who just don't know English.
Precisely.
Purely Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that I face much of a discrimination.
No.
They have been very nice.
Yeah.
And I was able to share my culture with them.
Yeah,
and when they realize I'm from Singapore, they would just like, hi, have a seat. What do you guys eat in Singapore? Like, I was like, oh, chili crab,
Yeah, that's very sweet.
It's very nice. Yeah.
And because you are a medical professional, I have to ask this.
Yeah.
Like, how was COVID-19 for you? How was the pandemic for you? Personally, career, stuff.
Tough. Yeah, it was. When did it start? 2019, end of 2019. Yeah, it was tough, and because I work with a lot of elderly, and with the team, of course, I tend to become a little bit more, I'll say, paranoid.
Of course, yeah.
So the moment when you're at work, I would like to go home immediately. I wouldn't want to go out.
Yeah.
And spread this virus to anyone else.
Mm-mm-mm.
And we do have clients who had COVID, and when we started to have a first case, it will be like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home to my boyfriend, and
Yeah.
should I visit my parents-in-law?
Yeah.
Should I go ahead with one of the meetup with my friend? Cancel all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precisely. And I imagine you also didn't get to go back to Singapore, right?
Yeah, it was all cancelled. It was all cancelled, and it was difficult.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
also difficult for me too. And I'm
Yeah,
not a
for sure,
medical
for
professional,
everyone.
so like
Yeah.
it didn't affect my career because we work from home. But I imagine that it's crazy, and I really am really proud of
Yeah.
you of having to
Thanks.
go through that and surviving that. Like we have a lot of love for the medical professional here and of course around the world. But
Yeah.
but nobody can really explain the kind of experience that you guys had. So I want to thank you for your service.
Thank you. But
No.
it was quite difficult is because you felt like I felt isolated
Mm.
because I wouldn't want to be the person who would spread the virus to
Of
anyone.
course. Yeah.
And a lot of things were out of stock.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you heard of the news, like the mask and everything. They know what happened.
Yeah.
But I would say Netherlands wasn't ready for a big pandemic like this. Not like Singapore when we had
So we had
SARS.
SARS.
It
Yes.
happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are very unhappy with the quarantine.
Yes.
Because
of course. Yes.
freedom is very important for people here.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, freedom of movement, freedom of speech is a concept that maybe expats like from where we are from find
Yeah.
it difficult to understand. You know,
Yeah.
like over here, freedom of movement, freedom of speech is very important to the population. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And for me, I was like, oh, just listen to the government. You know, they are always right.
we as people who grew up from Singapore,
Yes.
we listen to our government. Say, "Hey, don't go out, we won't
Yes,
go
hey,
out."
cannot go out. You get fined. You cannot storm. You know.
But I think we understand the how it is to go through a pandemic and to have
Yes.
to live through a pandemic in a country outside our native country, away from family and friends. It's difficult because I think people who have not moved out abroad may have a different idea of what it is like to work, live, or study abroad, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it was difficult when it was at its peak, where a lot of elderly passed away, like your friends, parents, dad, grandma. It started to hit you, like it's everywhere, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, precisely.
Very negative surrounding, you know.
Yeah. And, I mean, you are not only worried for your family in the Netherlands, but you're also worried for your family and
Back
friends
home.
back home, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a lot of mental stress that went on. Okay. Now,
and I remember there was this lockdown where I have to work quite late at night, and when we drive home, there was no car. It was very gloomy.
It was empty.
Empty.
Well, I'm glad that the pandemic is over. At least we have
over.
The new normal. The normal has returned.
Yeah,
and
touch wood.
Touch wood.
Yeah,
touch wood. Now, if you can turn back time, Fran, right?
Yeah.
How would you advise your younger self before you move to the Netherlands?
I'd say I'll come earlier.
Yeah, why so? Yeah.
Because I felt like starting. I would, when I came here, I had to start all over again. You know, from what you did in Singapore. And now I felt a bit older. Now I'm not that old.
No,
not that old, but
yeah.
If I were to come, let's say about 21 years old would be ideal. But at that time, I just met my partner.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say that I'll rush through everything, because everything happens for a reason, right?
Yes.
But if you say a very realistic one would be learning Dutch way before.
Yes.
Yeah, invest on the language. Like paying more money for classes.
For classes.
Yeah, but studying studying Dutch in Singapore is difficult. You don't get to speak to anyone.
Yeah, you don't get to practice, right?
Yeah, you don't get to practice. Yeah.
Those are really sound advice, because like you
Yeah.
know, like yourself, I was also in a long distance relationship, and then thinking back, I think a lot of my fears was like, oh, you know, I should have just
Yeah.
gone earlier.
1 hour a day, just
Yeah,
look through it.
yeah, that's right.
But with work, it's difficult.
It
Huh?
is difficult. No.
Yeah.
Well, I am really happy that I get a chance to talk to you today, because I feel like we covered a lot of topics, and I
Yeah.
am very sure, yes, and I like that you are very candid about your story, because at the end of the day, we want to learn authentically from each other, right? And
Yes.
for the viewers who are thinking of moving abroad, of coming to the Netherlands, but are scared, I'm sure that they are encouraged by your story today. And I
Yeah, just
know,
believe in yourself.
yeah,
Do
and
it.
I know that family and friends will be
Yes.
watching, right? Would you like
Yeah.
to say something to your family and friends back in Singapore, or even here in the Netherlands, before we sign off?
I would just say, I miss all of you, and you're always welcome here. We can party. No lah, not party.
And with that, friend, thank you
Yeah.
so much for today's interview. You have been great. All right, and
Thank
I'll
you.
see you soon. And to all the viewers today, thank you for watching in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.